Hey, what's going on, Record RC Nation? This is MJ, your host. Tonight we have Nick from RC Command. He is joining us from somewhere in the mountain. He's got his own little bunker going on over in Mountain Time. But man, we are having a great pre-show conversation. He's showing us some. You guys are in for a real treat. He's got some really cool stuff that's going to be coming up. And man, he's been a heck of a liaison between the RC community, the rock bouncing community, and some of the companies all around that. So, Nick, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, brother?
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm coming from Tucson, Arizona. For those of y'all who don't know me, I recently retired out the military, and my girlfriend is still active duty. So now I am following her around the country and supporting her while she finishes out her career in the military. So huge shout out to Claudia for always standing behind me, always supporting me, and all this craziness that I've gotten myself into. I really only started 2 years ago. I went to the National Rock Racing Association finals at Bikini Bottoms in Dyersburg, Tennessee. This was 2018. It was actually not my first rock bouncer race that I had been to. I'd actually gone to a small event up in New Hampshire, up in the White Mountains up there, and got to see Bobby Tanner, all the greats, all the big names. And I can only imagine that we'll have some folks that know about some of these names. I'm assuming Timmy Cameron. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of folks who are into off-roading at all have probably seen some of the wild stuff that rock bouncers do. But I also understand that it's a very small niche group, right? I mean,
Yeah, it
yeah,
really
right.
is.
It really is. So to me, these guys are rock stars. They are giants. I know all of their buggies. I know all what their drivetrains are. I know the drivers. So me as a super fan, that's what got me interested. And I'd just gotten out the army, and I'm like, I have nothing better to do. I might as well go do something that interests me, right? Gets me
Yeah.
out of the house. So I went to that little race in New Hampshire, like I said, and then I went to finals. I was so thankful to have some friends. Dylan Patton from D Pat's Photography has been a long time supporter of RC Command. Uh, he was there along with Jonathan Wright from Black Dog Photography, and they were working the show, right? Well, I had at that little race in New Hampshire, I had filmed for Charles Chris from High Octane Films.
Oh,
Now,
that's awesome.
right. Okay. So I had always commented on Charles's stuff. I always followed, because like I said, I was a Bega fan, and I watched rock bouncing from the minute, from whenever I could. Was what I was watching. I was watching rock bouncing in Afghanistan if I had the opportunity.
That's
Literally, I was going back and checking out, footage when I was allowed to. But so I got to film from Charles. That was huge. And then Charles was at finals, and he's like, dude, if you want to hold a camera, you don't have to hang out in the crowd. I'll get you on the hill. Right. So I put on a vest, I grabbed a camera, and I was literally standing at the starting line filming the biggest stage when it comes to rock bouncing. you
that's
know my
amazing.
first my first day out, my first time at a real event, and that was my experience. So man, after that I was hooked. So anyway, at the time, people kind of knew that I was doing the RC thing. Charles Caress is a huge RC person. He loves RCs.
Right?
He's got a ton of them, and so he told Clyde Bynum, the president of the National Rock Racing Association, who's in the trailer. He's literally running the starting line. He's running safety. He's running all of that from this trailer where they do the live feed. They're the only Rock Bouncer series that does a live feed that
Yep. I've seen
streams the
those coming up
race.
on YouTube and all that stuff.
Yep, cool, very cool. So he's in there running that. So I walk in with my chassis. One of them I'm about to show y'all. I walk in there and I'm like, hey, come to find out, huge RC fanatic. This guy's got like 100 something RCs. He's been
Ah,
selling. He's been selling Axial for years. Out of his shop, Spider Off Road. Super cool. So you know what he says? He's like, we're in between hills right now. I want you to go up on the hill, drive the RCs around up on the hill, and build me a promo. I had known the guy for 5 minutes.
well, apparently he knew you through some reputation.
Right.
There
So
it is.
I go up there. I grabbed a kid who also knew me from the crowd, saw me walking around with my T-shirt on, and came and introduced himself. We go up on the hill. I'm like, I need you to film me doing this. So we and the rest is history, man. I built that promo. I talked to Clyde a bunch in the off season, and in 2019. I was literally moving from San Antonio, Texas, where I had helped start the Texas RC Rock Racing Series. Helped Ben Hume stand that series up. 2 races into that season, I'm on my way moving to Arizona, and en route, I do my first race live with the National Rock Racing Association. Man, it has been a blur ever since, dude. It's been absolutely amazing. I have last year, well, 2019. In 2019, I drove to every single race. All but one. I had a family emergency. I couldn't make it to Hawk Pride, but I drove 25,800 and some odd miles that first year, dude. That just so happy to be doing what I was doing. You could have made me hitchhike and I would have done that too. It didn't matter. I was just so ecstatic to be involved,
That's straight purely dedication to rock 1-to-1, as well as the art things, man. Let me wrap my head around driving 25,000 miles in a year. I've done that but it was from Baltimore City into Washington D.C., 100 miles back and forth every day. For a full a year or two. That sucked because traffic sucks. But you're cruising, man. You got a lot of open road.
Yep.
I can imagine like what was going through your mind, like the designs, the discussions, the great phone calls, how much business you got done on that.
Yep.
Woo,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely. So
that's killer.
So the first year we scored, Red Cat Racing was the primary sponsor that was last year, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. That
was
Jeff Johns
year.
is at the helm over at Red Cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the first year we didn't have any sponsors. The first year Clyde put up $5,000 of his own money and paid out $500 every race for the top 3. It was $250 for first, 150 and 100 for first, second, and third.
Wow.
Yeah, $5,000 of his own money. Then last year we scored Red Cat Racing as the primary sponsor for the entire series, dude.
No
for
way.
The entire series. Yes.
That's killer.
Right. Unbelievable. And as a presenting sponsor, they were the primary sponsor. And then as a presenting sponsor, we had Matt over at Team Ot 6 Racing step on board, and they were instrumental in Team Ot 6 and Voodoo as a sponsor for the RC class, right?
That's awesome.
Absolutely. And I got to work with I didn't get to work with Jeff as much. I know he's not there anymore. Am I talking about the right guy? I think so. well, one of the guys left anyway that we were dealing with,
Okay.
but Matt was very consistent all throughout, and I know that they started design on a bunch of new parts, um, to beef stuff up and to get our drivers more parts that were going to be literally rock bouncer proof, because rock bouncer drivers, we don't, there's not a rock bouncer on the market, so we have to outsource parts from other components, right?
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So Matt saw that and he started to build parts, or design parts and ultimately build them, with the RC rock bouncer in mind. So not only are we getting them sponsoring, and now we're intermingling with that, but the sport is evolving because companies like that were willing to stick their neck out. Really, again,
Mhm.
small niche
Right.
sport, right? But stick their neck out a little bit and invest in moving the sport forward, you know. One of
Awesome.
the one of the big deals that came out of my relationship with Matt Ottman, and being kind of the middleman as far as the RC class and the big bouncers, was the, that's what caught my eye, was the USD sticky. Um, so uh, Chris from USD, um, is always at these events, is always at the races. He is a part owner of Agnes, the Agnes buggy, from built by Kryptonite Customs. Okay.
Right.
And so Chris is always at the events, and Matt had shown some interest in doing a USD sticky tire. And so I said, Matt, if you got to do it, at the time, the only USD sticky tire was the 46. Now they have the 40, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I said, Matt, if
I
you
already
are
know where
going,
that's going
if you are doing a USD sticky, it needs to be enormous. Now, when I wrote the rules for both the Texas series and the National Rock Racing Association, I set the tire max size at 6 inches. So I said, Matt, if you're going to do it, it has to be 6 inches. It has to be the biggest tire that is on the market right now in a 2.2. So he agreed. I talked to Chris. We got a meeting together, brought those two together. They figured out the licensing and all that stuff, got those out the way, and they had a design lickety split, man, and it was in the works like right away in 2020, and
That's awesome.
rest is history.
I remember the everything coming up with those particular tires.
Yeah,
As a consumer, I mean, clearly, if you can see over my shoulders, I have very few tires that are not a hot six. And no, I'm not
voodoo,
a
yeah,
sponsored driver. I'm just a fan.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and what I really love is seeing what's happening on a scale side of things go coming, and it's crossing.
yeah,
He's building drive shafts that are those Hero drive shafts are no joke,
yeah,
and that's the only drive shaft that hasn't broken in this little TF2 above above me,
yeah.
right? So it's coming, like those quality parts are coming clearly into our realm, and I'm excited to see what he has in future. And I know myself, including the rest of the voodoo community, is like 419s, Matt, 419s.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I even have a set of unicorns sitting right up there,
yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
over here. I have right here. I got a set of unicorns.
yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
but that also goes to show, I know, I'm sure there's something in the works. He does listen. He likes to
Oh
poke the
yeah.
bear, but he doesn't. He does listen. I'll give him
Yeah,
that.
he does. No, absolutely.
So
Absolutely, man.
speaking of sponsors, I need to take a second and shout out
Please,
our sponsors here.
please.
So across the board, we have some helping sponsor our show just as a non-paid sponsor, but we work closely with them. I want to start off with Operation 11 Charlie. You know, I know, and Nick and I have talked in the past. You know, he's got a little bit, you know, of a bit of a soft spot for what they're doing, their mission, along with everybody else going on. I also want to take 10 seconds and shout out Reefs RC. Just was able to re-sign with them for this coming year. In the works RC throwing down links. Now, we might have to talk after show to kick him in the butt because he's doing titanium. And I know titanium would absolutely assist in the strength and the lightning of the rock bouncing community. So that might be something that I might have to put you in contact with Brent to do some discussions with.
Absolutely. I'll get them tested if anything.
Look, I'm pretty sure like my 6x6 is essentially a rock bouncer. I put it on 4S and send it to anything. His links have not broken.
Cool.
Rod ends are a different story, but his links haven't broken. Rod ends are replaceable quickly. What's going on, Joey? I also want to give a quick shout out to Northwest Scalar Designs, doing some great chassis out of steel and aluminum. SRDLV throwing down some super scale license plates. And I know I'm missing somebody else. Oh, Carry All RC. I cannot forget Mike George, fellow veteran. His team of managers have all served somewhere. We even, believe it or not, we even have a Coastie. I know they're rare, few and far between.
Rare. It is rare.
Yeah. So, as well as we got a Chair Force guy, you know, Chair Force Ranger.
Yep.
Doing his thing. So, yeah, I need to give those guys a huge shout out and say what's up. And by the way, anything that comes through our chat as a live, goes as a donation to Operation 11 Charlie. So, you know, whether it's $1, $5, $2, 50 cents, $3.99, because that's happened in the past. Okay, every penny goes over to Operation 11 Charlie.
Man, I appreciate that.
As soon as it comes through, that's what y'all see me looking down on my phone. I hit the PayPal and get it over to them. All right. So, also give a quick shout out to Joe Harrington. I got one of his crazy Jersey Devil land anchors they draw blood, dude. They're crazy. Don't get caught by one of them, but they grip like no one's business. So I got to give him a huge shout out. And my man friendly pickle hater over at Sean's RC, Bull Gear Engage, and we also have Sevalencia. I hope I'm saying that right. I know he's from the rock bouncing community. I've seen some stuff, so I want to give those guys a quick shout out.
What's up, Joe?
Now, Nick, you've clearly been around the States. You've been around everything. I know you've got to get a couple of minutes to actually work and build on some of your RCs.
Yeah.
So I know you got a couple of projects in the works and some super custom stuff. You care to show?
Yep, let's do it. So I mentioned to everybody that really the reason why I got started in RCs was because I couldn't afford a rock bouncer, right? So I was a single soldier. Got myself an Axial Wraith just because it had solid axles, it had a chassis, it had 2 drive shafts, you know what I mean, and it looked the part for the most part, right? So it didn't stay stock for very long. I ended up cutting it up. I tried gluing the flipping plastic back in different ways to make it look more short and more like a rock bouncer, but it never really got that way, and it wasn't strong enough. It wasn't holding up. I wanted it to look the part, but I wanted it to perform more than anything. So I kept that Wraith. Actually, it should be in a museum, really. But I'm gonna try to get the light back over here. Tell me if this looks, if you can see.
Oh yeah, you can see it right there.
Okay, cool. All right, so this was my first back half. It is probably extremely bent and screwed up now. but it is designed to be on trailing arms. Just a single shock. I ran 120 millimeter, the King shocks from RC 4-wheel drive.
Awesome.
But the front half is still the plastic Axial Wraith, and it runs the Axial Wraith skid, the 3-gear transmission. All the link geometry is done for you. It's all right there.
That's beautiful. By the way, we got a first donation, Joe Harrington, the Jersey Devil land anchors. I want to thank you very much. That $5, you see me on my phone.
Thank you, Joe.
Hood it up right there.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Javier's gonna go nuts because we had a show or a couple shows ago, like his phone just kept going off for like 2 hours. It just started going. So hopefully we got it going again. So there it is, guys. Got the donation, got it sent. Thank you very much. Sweet. Much appreciated.
Yeah, heck yeah, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just there it is. All right. So as you're as we're taking a look, and you have another one right there. I know you do.
I do.
Okay. So y'all can see. Boom.
If you fast forward, there you go.
Yeah.
If you fast forward here, we've got a full season under our belt, and now we have guys that are out there building chassis. Right, Keller RC Performance is one of those companies, and they offer their Keller race chassis.
That's gorgeous.
This thing is set up to run 8 shocks. Well, not this one. I asked for I did ask for double shocks. I'm sorry, that's the sway bar. Anyway, these are set up to run 8 shocks. Okay, they usually run the Desert Lizards.
Okay,
if you're familiar with those,
I've got them on a lot of trucks. They're great.
Okay,
shocks.
Sweet. So this is a 3/16 solid rod chassis that is MIG welded.
3/16? That's a beast.
Yeah. It's
solid rod.
It is, but I tell you what, it's really not as heavy as you think. They really have their design down. Each one is kind of the same with a little bit different. So they're not the same, but all the link geometry stays the same. They just put a different flair for each chassis. Remember I showed you guys the last time, the Axial Wraith has all the link geometry and everything taken care of for you, but the Keller guys have a modified Axial Wraith skid. If you see, it's cut off right after the 3rd bolt hole here. Okay, so it utilizes the front axial link geometry, and it uses the Keller link geometry in the rear, which is trailing arm, a trailing arm setup with the sway bar in the back.
That is a very unique setup.
It is.
Like, so and to highlight, I know a lot of guys do on the scalar side do so much custom work. Like what you guys in the bouncer community do, so much of it lines up. It's not even funny. The difference is just what the end product looks like.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We try to keep them scale. We want them to look like the 1-to-1 bouncers or Ultra 4 cars. But we don't have like the interiors and stuff. A lot of the guys will take the time and do, like a hot rodder would do, or a 1-to-1 bouncer, where they take the time, they make the V8 look sexy. These guys will take the time and run their wires correctly and almost put the ESC on display as opposed to trying to hide it, the next buggy I'm going to show you has got some flair like that. I'm going to point it out to you. So this is Keller RC Performance. I know that they're either watching or they will be watching. But huge shout out to Sean and Brandon, man. They are just killing it.
Beautiful. Like that cage work, that like MIG welding is an art. It
It
comes
is.
down to it. Any kind of welding is an art. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I can't weld yet. I was hoping with this last stimulus check to buy a welder,
Yeah,
but
cool.
I had to adult too much and had to buy a fridge.
Yeah, that happens.
Adulting
Yeah.
sucks. Let's
Life
just talk
life
about that.
happens. Yeah.
So you've got one more
I
down
got
there.
one more. Yeah. So
Ready to roll. Which
the Keller chassis is a full-on race ready chassis. That if you want to race, you want a race car, RC race car, that is the Keller RC is no doubt that car for you, no doubt about it. The next one I got is the same thing, just built by a different guy. This is from RC Fabricatory. We call this one the Standard because I wanted to build a buggy that was going to set the standard. And so this is built by Sam Dubay. He is out of British. I'm gonna get that wrong. He's from Canada. Let's just go with that. He's from Canada. He's gonna kill me that I forgot where he's from.
That's
But
okay. It happens.
it does. Yeah. Sam has built everything from replicas of the Outlaw, Agnes, Gold Rush. But he also, this is his specialty. He builds these one-off custom chassis. Now, the skid plate is on there, but I brought it up the last two buggies. This is just a plastic cover, the skid plate. This buggy does not use any skid plate. Okay, it does use a 3-gear axial transmission, but it is mounted on tabs that Sam welds into place. This thing runs solid 3/16 rod down on the subframe, okay, where the transmission is mounted to, and then it uses 3/16 hollow brake line throughout the rest of the chassis, and it is all TIG welded.
That's another art form. What?
Yes.
Wow.
Right. So this is a single shock design. Sam believes firmly in mounting the front shocks on links. He's a big fan of leading arm. That's what it's called. And he also built in limiting straps.
I see that.
Right. And also I had to change the shock design, but he also has, it's probably going to be impossible to see with the black. But there is also bump stops built into this, mechanical bump stops
That's
that
awesome.
he has designed using springs from a pen. And dude, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But I don't know if you can see, but he built his own cross member. I don't know if you can see it in there. You can kind of see the
Yeah,
bar
you
right
can see it.
there. But you can see the pads where the bump stops land.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, you can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So another thing that I wanted to point out to you, we're kind of talking about how the guys will kind of display their electronics. So and this one's no different. On the back of the cab, if you will, there is a plastic plate that Sam welded in tabs for me. I'm trying to get it so the light is hitting it just right so you can see. But so right up here is the Mama X. Okay, the receiver is up there as well. They are zip tied with a piece of just a piece of plastic. Okay, and the plastic is screwed, like I said, to those tabs that Sam welded in for me. Now, also, it's probably going to be absolutely impossible to see, but there is a cage built in for the battery.
That's awesome.
Right, so it's built in. I'm trying to move it so you can see it.
Yeah, you can see
But
it a little bit.
kind of you can see it, right? So it is all the way up against the back of the cab. All right. And it fits a little, we don't need a whole lot of battery. We don't need a whole lot more weight. A lot of us just use those little micro 3S, 4S batteries that they use in drones. So that's exactly what it's built for. And it just straps in and it sits upright. It's super easy to change out. Another thing, if you look at this, see where the motor's mounted?
Oh yeah, man, that's right there.
Motor's mounted forward.
I like that. Get that. So, what kind of weight balance is is a rock bouncer in that situation putting out? Like
So this
ideal weight balance, I should say.
Okay. I have weighed this buggy. This buggy weighs 8 pounds with wheels, battery, everything
That's not bad.
fully loaded up. No, not bad at all. This motor smoked, but this motor was a 4600 kV censored motor, right? A lot of us use censored and the Mamba systems because of tunability.
Yep.
We go and tune, and we will burn tunes right at the hill while we're testing and tuning, because we allow the drivers to pre-run, before the race. So but let's see, where was I going with that?
What's the weight balance?
Okay, so Sam again likes to mount his motors forward to keep that weight up forward as much as you can. But I have found that you really want weight distribution as centered as possible, to make the suspension, so you can really tune the suspension and make the suspension work, as opposed to having too much weight up front or too much weight out back, keeping it centered and then making the suspension work to soak up everything. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Because then you're actually from at that point you're also applying what the bouncers know, and compared to like on a scale crawler, it's like, 60-40 is what's said to be that magic happiness, right? That's to like to find such an even balance in my mind and be able to climb those crazy hills. But then again, that's where the horsies help.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Wheel speed is just so important, and having that low end grunt, that torque to be able to jump up off. And this goes for the 1-to-1s too. It doesn't matter, 1-to-1 or a C. If you jump to a ledge and the momentum of the buggy slows or stops, for that matter, you've got to be able to get started again. And if you don't have that low end grunt, that torque, and or the wheel speed, you're not going to get started again. So it's so important, man. It is just nonstop tuning and changing. And the thing is that the hills can change after each run. You know what I mean? Each buggy affects the hill in a different way,
Yeah, because you've got the different tires work differently. You
Oh,
have ones
definitely.
that are going to dig versus ones that just kind of flattening. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
after
You,
watching so many videos, because I'm not gonna lie, I know myself personally, I've gotten wrapped up. And Mad Ram comes to mind, especially
mhm.
sitting there for hours on end, just listening to that LS go. Um,
Yep.
like just and watching those tires just work the tree, the cut in the cuts, listening to the drivers talk, what they do, the small things, what they do, not giving too much, just enough to keep you interested.
Yep.
Oh man, it's a work of art, man.
Yeah.
It's really each run's a work of art.
Yeah. Yeah. No lie. No lie. Again, those guys to me are freaking rock stars, and I can't believe that my job is my job and I
That's
do what I do. You know what I mean? Um, I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful.
I mean, then again, it goes to show people will gravitate to those who are clearly, they're clear, their heart's not only in the right place, but they're also trying to do the right things, trying to make that right communication, which
Mhm.
is a beautiful thing.
Of course. Oh,
as as
absolutely.
as twisted as the army can be, sometimes they teach you some good things.
Yeah, yeah, amen. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, my last job was with the command group of the unit that I was in, so I was around, the old saying how surround yourself by people that are smarter than you. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're wrong,
Yep,
pretty much. So I was way down at the bottom of the totem pole, but I took that opportunity and I just learned from those guys and being diplomatic in every situation and business and stuff like that goes a long way. It absolutely does. So
that's a
it really
beautiful
did
thing.
help.
So indirectly, as a fan of Lot Six, we have to, thank you indirectly for helping bring what is really one of my favorite sets of tires
Yep.
to the market.
Yep. I haven't talked to Matt directly about it, but Matt, if you're listening, Matt, we want a 40. They got a race 40 now. That's what all the drivers are going to is that little, all the drivers are going to that 40-inch, Matt. So we want a smaller USD sticky now. Come on.
We
Come
got,
on
hey,
with it.
look, on a great side, Matt, that might be a great opportunity for a 419.
Well, I mean, get them boys the 19. Get
Hey,
them boys the 19. That can be the 40. We don't have you can run a 19 tire in Rock Bouncer, RC Rock Bouncer, most series. They don't, I mean, they have a cap, they have a max size, but you can run
right.
5.5
Well,
if you want.
on the
Be
other side of it,
crazy.
though, you got to be careful because the KLRMs are that happy 19
Hmm.
max size tire. So maybe
Yeah.
that 40-inch, man. It's but yeah, that's a happy size.
Yep.
That's a
Heck yeah,
happy
man.
size.
And like I said, all of the uh, big bouncer drivers are going to that 40 because it's not so much rotational mass,
Yes.
right? Right. And again, wheel speed is so important. And to spin up those big 46s, holy smokes.
You need
Um,
torque. You need
Pretty much the
you
only
need
buggy that could do it was Gold Rush, and that was a 1600 horsepower pro charged 565 cubic inch big block. I mean,
GM Chevy.
GM. Yep.
All right. Here's my next question. Now this might be a better question for the drivers, right? We see the oil burners starting to put out, some serious horsepower, 4,000. I don't know if you saw that 6.7 Cummins put at 4,000, basically just boom.
Mm,
But 3,500, you could do it. But even all right. So let's say we put it down. Put it down to 1,200. Man, the torque you can get out of an oil burner is stupid.
yeah.
I have you heard anything of any bouncers going to the oil burning?
No, and I tell you why. I think that it just comes down to budget. Honestly, I think that it just comes down to an LS motor. You can pull a 5.3 for $500, $600 out of a junkyard and put
Yeah,
turbo on it and with some tuning have a pretty competitive race motor, race motor, and a
yeah.
bounce. I mean, I think that that's literally what it comes down to. Uh,
It's
I have never heard anybody diss diesel motors. I've never, maybe wait,
yeah. Wait,
maybe
I mean they're
wait.
heavy.
They are. And these guys are really trying to cut corners as much as they can because there's got to be a lot of weight in the chassis because it's got to be safe. If you've watched a lot of Mad Ram 11 videos, you've seen them roll all the way down to the bottom of the hill, land on their wheels, and turn right back around and go right back up the hill again. You know what
Unless
I
they
mean?
broke an axle, which
Well, right, of course, if they can, but you don't do that with a flimsy built. There's a lot of tube that's involved, and unfortunately, that's the sacrifice is weight. You know, so But
On a serious note, so even though we don't do or rock bouncing, my father and I are heavily in the 1-to-1 drag race as well.
cool.
We have a
Cool.
9-second Corvette, so
Whoa,
but
nice.
we totally understand what you're talking about when you're talking about the safety, because we have it's IHRA certified, has to have a roll cage,
Sweet.
it's tubbed, and once you start talking about those kind of modifications, even on the DIY side, just the cost of the cost of the proper mandrel bender, the cost of the actual materials to do it, and if you want to throw in something shiny so you can actually get out of the darn car, with a little and have it open, you're talking about extra added, because that still has to support, the crash and all that. So we totally understand. I totally sympathize with it, because we're pulling, 434 small block
Yeah, yeah.
on
Okay.
E85. Anybody running E85 by
Yes.
chance?
Oh, 85, yes. And a lot of drivers are running a 434 small block as well.
Yeah. See,
Yep.
and I bet you it's a dark block too.
Timmy Cameron being one of them. Yeah,
I
I don't
is
know
it
blocks. I don't know blocks, but he ran several 434 small blocks.
when you're talking about that, the only block that really holds up like that is a dart.
Then but
Yeah.
Shacklet Motors builds his motors, so he has a motor guy.
Everybody's yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you're talking, and then let's talk about the billet piston, the billet internals that have to be able to take that, because you're running 7,000 RPM all the
hmm
way up the hill.
yeah, yeah.
On
And sometimes the dang things flip upside down. you know,
Yep,
so there's they're all fuel injected. Yep.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So, as you're going through, man, so you mentioned going into that one to like trying to get in that 1-to-1 game. Um, have you ever had a chance to operate a 1-to-1 bouncer?
Not drive yet. No, I've ridden in a few. That race up in New Hampshire that when I started the interview and I told you all about, I got a ride in the Hulk buggy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, so the buggy. It was just after he put the Whipple on the LSX 454.
Okay.
So it was stupid fast, and man, but I tell you what, the suspension is tuned so well that it rides so smooth, and I mean, it's got so much power, man. It really just ate that hill up, dude. It was nothing. Yeah.
That's what you need, though. That I mean, flat out, like when you're talking that kind of power,
hmm
you've got to have that in order to
Yeah.
make those hills.
Yeah, definitely.
There's
Absolutely.
oh,
Yep.
man,
Absolutely.
that you can see the jealousness coming out. Oh,
Yeah. Well, you have a 9-second race car, so I don't know.
no, it's not mine. It's actually my father's.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well.
as much as I want to say it's mine, it's not. Oh, apparently, by the way, it's a now 440. So I need to
Okay.
make sure the
Okay.
numbers are right.
Okay.
Got to keep,
Okay.
keep the dad happy.
Yep.
So Joe Harrington's actually asking, what are some of the RC Bouncers events coming up?
Okay.
You have anything on the East Coast, West Coast? What's going on?
Right. So if you are in the Southeast, we are going to be holding 10 events this year just with the National Rock Racing Association alone. There are other RC Rock Bouncer race series that are just RCs, if you're into something like that, that are popping up all over the country. So one of the biggest, if not the biggest right now, is the King of the Mountain RC Bouncer Race Series that takes place up in the White Mountains up in New Hampshire. Beautiful area up there. Curtis Hazard runs Hazardous RC Off Road Park up there, and he has built the Taj Mahal of RC Bouncer Hills. It is on his property, and it is a 100-foot change in elevation within a matter of about 50 yards. Maybe not 50 yards, but anyway, it's pretty epic. It's it is an off-road playground for RCs that is an understatement, actually. And if anybody is up in the Northeast and has an opportunity, he's going to be running 5 or 10 races this year. So I would definitely recommend getting up there and at least for one race.
Yo, someone just put up Axial just dropped a photo of a bouncer.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that was
I'm going right now as you're talking, man. I'm going
good.
right now to see what we got.
It's on Axial.
I'm looking.
I didn't know. We've known about this for a while.
Well, you have.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hit the book of faces. I mean, that right there is freaking awesome. I'm trying to make sure my language does not it's solid.
Yeah, me too.
All right,
I promise.
So Axial Racing. Let's see if I can get there. Not, we'll go Horizon Hobby. Come on. Oh, they did. It's
on
a
Facebook.
Teaser. All right. I'm gonna screen share real quick, so that way everybody can see. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, right there. Now, ironically, since I have you, does that look like any trucks that you know off the top of your head?
I mean, but I know that it's not. So I know that it's not any bouncers that are currently racing. I know that it's their own design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because hey, I gotta ask. It's kind of my job to ask as much, try and get as much, poke the bear as much as we can. I'm hoping from if it's an RTR standpoint, something brushless, something that's gonna have that horsies to get going.
Those actually, I don't know those. I don't know those details. To be honest with you, I don't know those details.
That does look like upgraded shocks too, which is a solid concept.
Yeah.
Compared to their standard.
Yeah.
Like on their 10.3s.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't had my hands on one, but this has been in the making for, since right after the end of our first season that I know of. So
I like it. I really like it. Really,
the Capra, as far as I know, was supposed to be this, but I don't know what happened, why it was delayed.
I mean, we can say what we say. It is what it is.
So
I mean, realistically, though, I'm very intrigued about those Axials. I wonder if
let me give you another cool part of what we're supposed to be debuting at the same time, and I'll kind of drop it here. We added a RTR class under the National Rock Racing Association umbrella. Okay, so you can buy this rig right off the shelf, come to a National Rock Racing Association event, and win yourself $250.
That's cool right there. That's real cool.
Yep. Minimal investment. It's a bouncer already. It's already ready to race. And just
are you allowed to change, like, say, the servo or whatnot?
Yeah, we haven't completely ironed that out yet, but we understand that you're gonna have but if it didn't come with brushless, you can't put brushless in it, right? So once you start changing stuff like that, then you go to the open class. All right.
Gotcha. So you're gonna really, because look, if you want someone to think about gray area, I personally drive everybody who's running a Sorka event absolutely crazy
Yeah.
because I find every gray area possible. Including, I'm sure a friend of mine is actually going to be listening. He came up with some rules, and I'm just like, hey, I found a loophole. Let's send it.
Yeah.
But that's my reputation, so I gotta stick by it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, man, I understand what it takes to run a race series, and some I get it. I get it. It's your job to as the competitors to push those, you know what I mean? And that's all right. That is absolutely your right. But
Yeah. By the way, thank you, Jason M, for that drop information drop, and just say gonna go through and say to everybody that's coming in here. We Sean's RC. He's one of the Operation 11 Charlie representatives from the New York region. Was in. He said thank you specifically to Jersey Jersey Devil for that donation. And we also have in house Jason M and Barbecue. He's been going on saying, hey, lots of people, lots of pretty consistent people coming in. So I want to say thank you guys for the love and the sub and checking in and whatnot. If you haven't caught some of the discussions that Nick has thrown down, you need to when we're done here, you need to go back in time and look at those bouncers because they are custom made, TIG, MIG, and just beautiful. There's love. It's love, dude. It's love at first sight.
heck yeah, man.
It really is, and there's hobbies that are more expensive, so we're good.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Especially them big bouncers, boy. I'll tell you what, some of them rigs are six figures right off the shelf, and then they take them out and just absolutely destroy them, you know.
I mean, you figure, you grab that six figures, man. Like, I know what it takes to build a quality drag car.
Yeah.
And I mean, even with
Yeah.
the fabrication after everything, and trailer. See, what people forget about is, let's talk about the trailers. Let's talk about the fuel to get there, the fuel to run, because everything has to be on site.
That's right.
I highly doubt there's an E85 station, especially for those guys that are close. They have to carry that in like 255-gallon drums.
Yeah.
And then for those who don't know about E85, you also have to find the right station. You have to run a tester to make sure that it is of the proper octane. If not, if you can't, it's not, you've got to make the tunes on the money, or like right there, to adjust your motor. Plus, then you're talking about elevation and how elevation affects the motor. I mean, clearly, yeah,
Oh,
we're
dude, I can nerd out all day, man. I love it, and you're absolutely right. But that isn't that part of the fun. You know what I mean? Isn't that
absolutely,
part of it?
that's labor of love.
Right? It is. It is. I mean, the racing is great, and some people, live for the racing, but I love all of it. I do. The struggles and the victories, uh, all of it, man. And just because you're not standing up on the podium at the end of the day doesn't mean that you lost. You know. I truly believe that. And let me say this too. I preach this a lot on my show. Okay. This off road family, especially the bouncer folks, are some of the closest tight knit group that I have ever been a part of. And I think that's why the transition from the military into the bouncer family, if you will, was so easy, was because, when I was in the Ranger Regiment, I would fight in a foxhole with any one of them, but now these patriotic uh you know folks that I'm racing with are just the same way. I'd get in a foxhole and fight with them as well, you know. My point is that when you go to a race, you're gonna get a warm welcome. They're gonna love the fact that you came from wherever. You know, they're just ecstatic that people are there to watch them do what they absolutely love to do. You know what I mean? Uh, you will see guys break their buggy, and you will see other guys bring parts from their spares or off their own buggy so their competitor can race and hit the starting line, because they don't want to beat anybody without knowing that everybody got a chance to run the hills. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they don't want to say that they beat you because you broke, and they might have had the parts to help you get fixed, and you know, they want to lose or win fair and square, you
That's
know,
awesome.
right?
That explains so much why just the RC community as a whole and the rock bouncer community seems to gel so well,
Hmm.
because that's I've seen exactly that. You're at a competition, someone's servo goes down. Oh, here's an extra servo. Go, go, go. Or
Yep.
I've also had the opportunity to witness at the um, at Blue Rocks G6, there was a impromptu donation of a rock bouncer, RC rock bouncer, and the guys over at Carry All and the team we just threw parts at it, and there
Yep.
was the engineer just kept going.
Yep.
Dreamer just kept going. By the way, Sean Keller is popping in and saying what's up, and giving
Cool.
you a shout out for your shirt.
What's up, Sean?
What's going on, man? And like that's the kind of stuff that, as you described, to see in the bouncer community as a whole, that you come and then you see in the RC community as a whole. I love it, guys. I straight love it.
Yep, absolutely, man. um uh Sean, did you see the Axial post with the RC
Here,
bouncer that I
I'll kick back to it because that's what I can do. Let me kick back to the Axial RC post that Nick is referencing. So, yeah, I definitely like to hear your thoughts. From the Keller RC side of
Yep.
things.
Yep.
So that makes me giddy, man.
Yep. We'll
That makes me.
see. We'll see how they do, man. You got to realize that the RC community has grown so much that there are so many custom builds now that you know uh, I can't see a lot of the hardcore guys buying one. Maybe they will, just because they're fans, and a lot of these guys will buy anything that comes out. They got to have it.
Yeah,
But I
we've
these
all
guys,
been there somewhere.
yeah, I have 7 fully custom RC rock bouncers, dude. I really have no need for another axial out of the box anything. you know, uh, I've scratched that itch, if you will, if you will.
Yeah.
But and I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for them because I know there are folks who are going to watch this now, or maybe later on down the line, and they're going to be like, "Holy cow, that sounds like exactly what I'd like to do." Or maybe folks that are fans of rock bouncing, and they want to get out to a race some way, but they also want to enjoy their hobby in RCing. Well, this is 2 ways to combine. Dude, when you sign up for a race as an RC driver, you are a driver. You are a driver just like Timmy Cameron. You're a driver just like Paul Wolf, Bobby Tanner. When you come to an event, you race on the same hills as the one-to-one drivers, and you are part of the event.
So then that comes to my next question. Let's say I know there's a couple guys that are here. They're in New York, and I know some guys will be catching from Vermont and New Hampshire and whatnot. Where do you go to sign up for this? And when you're talking also with the Southeast stuff,
Mhm.
is there a schedule? So because where I live outside of DC,
Mhm.
I'd like to definitely catch one. I know
Yep.
I'm about to make a weekend of it and enjoy
Yeah.
the smell of the fumes
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's got to love exhaust.
Absolutely.
As a
Absolutely.
motorhead, you have to love the smell of the exhaust.
So if you go to nationalrockracing.com, you can find answers to all of those questions all right there. The schedule is there, sign up is there, the rules is there. Everything is super easy to navigate, man. And it's being updated all the time with driver profiles and stuff like that. If you are a seasoned driver, if you sign up, your opportunity to get the full everything that we were including for this year is over. You can't take advantage of the savings or anything like that now, but you can still sign up as a seasoned driver. But as a seasoned driver, we are going to be taking care of a lot of stuff like social media. We're going to be promoting your race team. We're going to be promoting you. Uh, um, and that goes for the freaking RC drivers as well. It's all part of it, you
Yep,
know?
there it is right there. RC, Bouncer UT and RC Cup series.
Yep.
As you're talking about this, I'm sharing it as
Cool.
well.
Cool.
So our audience and people watching can
Cool.
see exactly what you're speaking of.
Yep, absolutely. I appreciate that. But yeah, if you look, so we're right coming up on February 19th and 20th. We're going to be kicking the series off. We have for the last few years at Northwest OHV Park in Bridgeport, Texas. Beautiful spot down there. The town owns the off-road park, dude.
That's
One of
cool.
the cool one of the coolest towns that we go to in Bridgeport. And um
In
that's that.
America, I like that.
So yeah, so Mid America is the world's first off-road resort. It is an unbelievable park, and we're going to be going there twice this year for the National Rock Racing Association. So very excited about that.
There's a lot of events in Kentucky and Tennessee. That's awesome.
Yep. 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 I don't know, man. Maybe your best bet would be Hawk Pride, which is in Tuscumbia, Alabama, right there, August 6th and 7th. That
From
might be
DC, that's a heck of a drive. I was
yeah,
thinking probably somewhere in Kentucky or Tennessee would be.
yeah, sure.
I have to go through Tennessee to get to Alabama.
Do you? Okay, all right.
Bikini Bottoms.
Dyersburg, yeah, that's over closer to Missouri, so
Okay.
that's going to be on the western side.
All right.
But Wildcat, that is eastern Kentucky.
So it's closer to Ohio. Cool.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm sorry for those that are watching that I moved my mouse so fast. So yeah, I apologize. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You won't die.
But y'all can go back and check it out later on.
That's cool.
Again, it's real easy to navigate, super easy to navigate, and you don't have to sign up for the season. You can sign up for each event if you'd like. You can just come when you can. But I've had guys that hit me up the day of the event, like, "Hey, can I sign up?" You can sign up the day of the event. Obviously, you don't save any money at that point, but you can come sign up the day of the event. And I've had guys win, and win $250. They win the entry fees back and then some. So you can kind of see we have little blurbs about the town surrounding the parks, and we try to give you guys information on what else you can do besides go to the races.
That's cool. That's
Yeah, a
cool.
lot of big changes this year.
Yeah,
Lot of-
like the website itself is very easy to navigate as well.
Yep.
As you go, I'm looking at the Oliver Windrock Park in Oliver Springs, Tennessee. Although the map doesn't do very much because it's literally in the middle of God's country.
Yeah.
There's nothing Google Maps can't actually do.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Once we get out of that,
Yeah.
but that's cool.
Yeah.
I definitely have to talk to my better half to make arrangements because tiny human. But
I tell you what, man. It's going to be more of a haul for you, But the off-road resort that I just mentioned, Mid-America Outdoors, shameless plug, they're a big sponsor of my show. Um, they are building the park with the family in mind. So they are literally building the park so mama and kids can spend the day in the pool, or just, hanging out. They have a Olympic sized swimming pool with a swim up bar. And so they have bounce houses that are water or slides. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
They
man,
they they think of they really do. They really set it up so mama and kids can go do their thing while dad's out in the woods getting, eaten by flies and muddy and dusty and dirty and hot and sweaty, doing our thing, enjoying ourselves while they're relaxing and hanging out. So if I could recommend one park, it would be Mid America. But I love them all. I love them all. I'm not trying to discount any of them, but Mid America is definitely family friendly.
and that's the other side of especially when you're talking about the RC bouncers.
Hmm.
A lot of the tiny humans go with us, and a lot of big national events build themselves as being family friendly.
Yep.
So in the RC community, that's extremely important.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And as you've alluded to, it's also very important inside the rock bouncer community as well,
Yep.
because I've seen, through Mad Ram's videos, through various other videos, you see the tiny humans popping up here and there. I mean, you can't really show them because of their face in the YouTube guidelines,
Yeah.
but you might hear their voice, that little high pitched voice off
Yep.
in the distance, and mom saying, "Don't do that." You
Yep.
can imagine
Absolutely.
them, the yank.
Yep. So some of the best stories that I have are making those kids feel like freaking rock stars. You know what I mean? Making them feel like they are right up there with the big drivers like Timmy Cameron, Bobby Tanner, all the folks that they look up to, and they're not racing in the same class with those guys. They're racing in their own class, and they love that, man. And I love exposing that and showing the world how fun and exciting it is, and how family friendly it is, and how everyone is. It's a safe place to come to. It's safe for everybody. We don't promote partying. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It happens, but we're not promoting it. It's not our focus. You know, you know, we really are there to have fun, have good, clean competition, and enjoy some horsepower, enjoy some KV.
You've got You've got to have that KV. If you
Yeah.
don't, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Now, so as someone walking into it, let's say they don't have a bouncer per se,
Mhm.
could you theoretically take a well-built scaler and compete in the unlimited class
Oh boy.
if you don't happen to have or is that kind of like,
So, well, I don't know what scaler really are you meaning, like something like what you have behind you there with the USDs on it? Is that a scaler?
yeah, well, that's technically my class 3 rig, but yeah, something like
Right.
that, or maybe like a TRX4 that's got a
Okay.
brushless motor.
So the open class doesn't allow for frame rails.
Okay.
Okay, so it's got to be a tube chassis.
Okay, so theoretically, then like a 1.9 Wraith would technically
Yep,
meet
that would work.
that.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, a 1.9 Wraith would work. Bomber, regular size Wraith, Rock Ray, Yeti, um, uh, those are the major ones.
Okay. Okay.
That
See,
you could
that's
buy
that.
off the shelf or used.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good to know. That's
Yep.
very good to know.
Yep, absolutely. And definitely be competitive. Definitely be competitive. Yeah, I've seen people win races with a stock Rock Ray. Just they were just good drivers. They were good drivers. The Rock Ray's very competitive. Absolutely.
Yeah, because they have a brushless system right off the
Yeah.
bat.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. As does the Yeti, but there's always going to be that, IFS versus solid axle. There's always that debate. But that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun. It
That's
really
part of
is.
fun, 1-to-1 and RC.
It doesn't matter.
That's the
It
beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's all in good fun. It really is.
See, but then again, if you can't have fun with it, why are you?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree. When I retired out the military, I said I would never work another day in my life. I've told you about driving and being dedicated and stuff, but dude, I haven't worked one day in my life. Not doing this stuff. Not at all. It is just, I love it. I live it. It's my life, you know. So
Jason's asking, is the axial rock bouncer blurry so you can't see the shock oil leaking? Yeah, I'm not gonna comment. By the
no
way,
problem,
Keller's
Jason.
asking you hold up that your bouncer one more time, just because
It's
it's
bow down. That's the name of it. Bow down.
bow down,
Yeah.
bow down, baby. Man, that thing is a work of art. I'm just enjoying those wells. I'm enjoying those lines,
Yeah.
like picturing it with the axles, with everything in there. Wow.
Yeah. It was together. It's coming apart because it's going to get powder coated and stuff. But I can send you some pictures of it on the hill. Racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so we in the chat we have the IFS versus
Oh yeah. I
solid
knew it.
axle war starting, right. Is it worse than servo wars? I don't know.
Yeah. I would say equal.
I mean, it is what it is. Oh man, it's just so beautiful. So what color? Black powder coat.
Yeah, I black and red are my colors, so it'll either be black or red. Yeah.
I think red. Honestly, I think a red powder coat on that
Yeah.
would pop
Yeah.
flat.
Oh yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I get my wrap guy Dylan at D Pass Photography. He always takes good care of me. My wraps. I'd show you the standard wrap, but it probably wouldn't focus very well.
That's beautiful, dude. I know I know our viewers are taking it in one more time.
Yep.
I'm gonna make sure that you get up on if I can, the speaker view, so that way everybody can see that. Hopefully, it kicks in here in a second. Yeah. Gorgeous.
They've got a lot of pretty killer builds. The Kellers race in a race series up in the Pacific Northwest that has been going on for quite a few years now. Um, they they have some unique rules. They're borderline rock crawler courses that they race rock bouncers on, so uh, I have a hard time calling them a rock bouncer race series, but the Kellers have been racing with them and dominating with these chassis over the last couple of years. So it was a no-brainer when I was kind of looking for somebody to build. And again, I want to support these guys as well, you know, you know,
Absolutely, man. That is
pump money into into the community, buy a chassis, you know.
I'm going to make sure whenever I go back for one of the thing, we can get that. Make sure that we get that picture up there with you holding that chassis, because that's just gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I really looking forward to seeing that done. Is there any specific Facebook groups or any kind of social media that they can people can follow you on?
Yeah, RC Rock Bouncing right on Facebook is probably one of the largest RC rock bouncing groups that there is.
All right, I'm gonna go check.
Yep. And then again, shameless plugs, my rock bouncing specific show that I do live on Facebook, On the Hill with Nick and Friends. Um, we stream every week, sometimes a couple of times a week. It is a rock bouncer news show, I like to call it.
I was watching a whole bunch of them, man. You have some really interesting guys. Just like you can see the knowledge just seeping from their brains, and it's a matter of how like taking it and applying it.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, we had Ryan Raker on last night from AccuTune. He's actually out in California, but he flies back east to tune suspensions on rock bouncers.
that's
Yeah,
awesome,
yeah, pretty epic. Pretty epic story. It was a good time hanging out with Ryan last night.
dude. That's amazing. Oh, I'm definitely like, I gotta get one of these events. I
Yeah, you do. Again, and when you do, I tell everybody, come and find me. Seriously, I love meeting all y'all. I love hearing everybody's stories and stuff. And you know, we've had folks come from California all the way to Tuscumbia, Alabama, to watch races fly in. I have had guys fly in just to compete. You know, they'll take their buggy apart just enough to be able to fit into a backpack, and they'll fly in, do the race, win some money, and fly back out the next day. You know, unbelievable, the commitment for these guys, man. It's so cool.
That is so cool. I mean, that and the knowledge and the discussions and the fun that's had, that's
Yep,
where it's at, right there.
yep, no doubt.
100%.
You know, it is literally living that racer life. You know, those guys that are flying in and competing like that, or driving 10, 12 hours one way to come to a race. You know, it's cool. It's pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff.
That is awesome, man. That is amazing. All right, so as we wind down with our conversation, I want to make sure that we give our sponsors one more shout out.
Please.
I'm going to start off with Operation 11. Like we said, any donations that come through the our super chat live through the show will immediately get shown and sent over to them. There, it is what it is. We've had thank you one more time to Joe Harrington for throwing out
Thank you, Joe.
a donation. I'm not gonna lie, it's not his first donation by any means.
I
So
bet. I'm sure.
that's
Yeah.
what I love. I love that, right? Just it keeps going. It like as soon as YouTube comes through on the 21st, because that's when everybody gets their YouTube money. I've got to send another $280 over to them, to Operation 11 Charlie. So, and we
Cool.
were able to raise about $3,000 for them on one night. One
Wow.
night. It was amazing.
Wow.
So I want to say a huge shout out to those guys. Also, my personal sponsors, Reefs RC, Northwest Scalar Designs, SRDLV, and Carry All RC, and In the Works RC. Guys, check them out. Like I said, I'm going to connect you, Nick, with my buddy over at In the Works. Titanium's a beautiful thing. Strong light, shenanigans abound. So we'll have to definitely chat about that. Nick, you have anybody else you want to shout out?
I just like to thank Mid America Outdoors, Reich Racing for sponsoring us this year. Keller RC Performance again for the sexy chassis that we were showing you guys. RC Fabratory as well. Mr. Sam Dubay. Please get out and check all those guys out, man. RC rock bouncing is a cool sport, y'all. It really is, and I know you guys will enjoy it. I do.
Awesome. And Keller just asked NW about NWSD. He's over in Oregon. I'm actually one of their drivers for out east, because there's only a few of us. We're a small, tight knit community, but I helped design their scattergun version too. I actually have their Skunkworks version that Corwin and I had really worked out. I know it's chassis, so it is what it is. But he also offers a back, for a cage half. So it kind of leaning toward almost halfway of what you do.
Yeah, they're frame tables, dude. I mean, I would love to have one of those frame tables. I could do way straighter work.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Like it in his stuff. His thing is metal. Like I've
yeah,
talked to him, dude. I've pushed him so many times. Be like, carbon fiber, G10. He's like, nope. I
yeah,
like metal.
yeah, yeah. I hear. I understand. I'm a fabricator at heart too.
Yeah,
Maybe not a good one, but I am. I like metal. I do.
there's something about like that heated metal smell once you get that fresh grind off that weld.
Yep.
There's just something about that smell.
Yep. It's true. It's very true.
Yeah, dude. By the way, Keller, you need to definitely check out their frame tables. They are top notch. They are top notch.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So Nick, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you being able to come on the show. Man, we w- man, I learned quite a bit,
Cool. Good. Good. I'm
and
glad you did.
I hope our viewers were able to take something in. I hope some people were able to get down to at least some of the races. If not, does NR, the National Rock Racing Association puts it on live on YouTube.
Yes, sir. Every race, man, they'll cross post to YouTube, Facebook, and then a ton of pages on top of that too. Mad Ram 11 streams the NRRA races live while we're on the hill, man, while we're racing. So, heck yeah! If you can't make it to a race, no big deal. You can still watch.
That's awesome. And
Yep.
I've seen those guys also get some of the RC side of things too.
Well,
Uh,
we are supposed to. We sometimes we have snafus, but the RC race is supposed to be live every single event.
yes, I watching that
Yep.
and watching the crowd reaction
Yep.
of those mini of the mini 110 of
Yep.
the Gold Rush and whatnot get going for it.
Yep.
It's amazing, man.
Yep. It really is. Yep. And you'll see Timmy Cameron, Bobby Tanner. They'll stop, because they're we usually race in between their hills 1 and 2, which is like their lunch break almost. They get about an hour break. So
Okay.
we're like the halftime show, so they'll come over and hang out with us and watch and cheer us on, man. Pro bouncer drivers, 1-to-1 bouncer drivers coming over and cheering on the kids and the adults racing, the little the RC
That's
bouncers.
awesome. By the way,
Absolutely.
Jersey Shore Crawlers are holding a King of the Hill event in February. Joe, if you want to definitely shoot out some of those details, I'm hopefully things have calmed down during that time. I know how your state is, but we'll figure. I'm sure you guys will figure it out. You guys are smart. I've met enough of you guys. The shenanigans are just as real here as they are everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, ladies and gentlemen, I want
Yep.
to say thank you one more time. Thank you for joining us. Nick, thank you for coming on, dude. It's been a
My
pleasure.
pleasure, man. My pleasure. Anytime. Anytime.
Dude. Well, like I said, we'll stick around once I come off live and we'll talk and I'll see if I can get you hooked up with Brent.
Okay.
And thank you guys for watching Keller RC. I really love your stuff. Jersey Devil Land Anchors. Appreciate what you guys are doing. Bull Gear and everybody else that I may or may not have missed. Please, guys, check us out. Make sure you give those guys a like and a sub. Hit that like button as well, please. If you haven't subbed, please throw us a subscribe button. Check out what Nick RC Command is doing live on the Book of Faces and the Tube of Views. He's doing some great stuff. Follow him on Instagram. He's pretty easy to follow and easy to find. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, guys. Have a safe evening. Don't do anything stupid. Well, don't do anything we wouldn't do. How about that? That is to be interpreted how you want. Have a great night, guys.
See y'all.
All right.